Hello everyone, welcome to the session of Theory of Computation or Formal Languages and Automata Theory. In today's session, we'll discuss about P, NP, NP complete, NP hard problems. Okay, so actually this is a wide area of discussion, but here we are going to concise our discussion with respect to exam point of view. Okay, so let us start our discussion with the word polynomial time. Okay, so here as we are going to discuss about this classes of the problems. So generally computational problems are divided into P and P classes, so that we are going to see how they are going to be divided. So before that, let me explain the concept of tractable, intractable decision and optimization problems. So before that, let me explain what is this polynomial time. So generally, whenever we want to solve a particular problem in our computer science engineering, we have to write an algorithm, right? We have to write an algorithm. So when we write an algorithm, uh, we have to consider the two factors. One is the time complexity and another one is the space complexity, right? So these are the two factors that we need to consider whenever we write an algorithm, right? So here, as I'm going to discuss about the time complexity kind of thing here. So whenever there is an algorithm and that algorithm will gives the result in a fixed amount of time or finite amount of time, then that particular algorithm is considered as polynomial time algorithm, right? So whenever we have an algorithm that takes the input and gives the solution in some fixed amount of time or some finite amount of time, then that algorithm will be considered as polynomial time algorithm, right? So here if you see the definition, on an input of size n, the worst case running time is order of n power k for some constant k, right? So to mention that an algorithm is a polynomial time algorithm, if we consider its worst case running time, it is around the order of n power k, right? So n power k for some constant k, right? So already you know that algorithm time complexity is having will be measured as best case, average case, worst case, right? So here for polynomial time algorithm means the upper bound or the worst case complexity will be considered as order of n power k, right? So what are the various algorithms that falls into this particular category, or when we can say that an algorithm is a polynomial time algorithm, right? So whenever we have an algorithm that have a time complexity like order of 1, order of log n, or order of n log n, order of n square, or order of n cube, then those algorithms will be considered as a polynomial time algorithm, right? So let me give one example: linear search, right? So that linear search algorithm will give the result in fixed amount of time or definite amount of time, right? Similarly, we are having this binary search. Okay, the same is case with the sorting techniques, right? Bubble sort, merge sort, quick sort, right? So all these algorithms are called as polynomial time algorithm, right? So because they are going to execute some finite amount of time and they are going to give a result. Okay, so that's it about the polynomial time. So here if you consider, here the polynomial time algorithm is having something like n power k. Okay, say k could be any constant, so n power 1, n power 2, n power 3, n power 4, or it could be log n log n, likewise, right? Next one, exponential time, right? So sometimes what will happen, we are going to have an algorithms that takes exponential time complexity like n power n. Okay, so n power n or n factorial or 2 power n, likewise, right? So these algorithms are considered as exponential time complexity algorithms, right? So that means the algorithms includes we are having various problems like graph coloring problem, Hamiltonian cycle. So those problems are comes into this exponential time complexity category, right? Because if you increase the size of the input, the algorithm is going to take more time. That means we cannot predict whether that particular algorithm will gives a result in some finite amount of time or not, right? So that is the case with the exponential time, right? So as long as the input is small, those algorithms are going to give the result in some fixed amount of time. Okay, but if we increase the size of that input, what will happen? The algorithm is going to take much more time, right? So here these algorithms will be considered as exponential time complexity algorithms, right? So just to make the discussion clear, so I thought of just explaining this polynomial time and exponential time algorithms here. So next let us move on to the tractable problem. So actually we are having the two categories here. We could say a tractable problem or an intractable problem, right? So a problem is considered as a tractable problem if it can be solved in a polynomial time, right? So just now I mentioned what is polynomial time and what is exponential time, right? So whenever I am using a word as a polynomial time, assume that those algorithms are going to have some finite amount of execution time, right? And they gives the solution. So tractable problem means a problem that can be solved in a polynomial time is called tractable one. Okay. So generally a tractable problem can be solved by a polynomial time algorithm, right? So the upper bound for an algorithm is polynomial time, right? That means it is something like a polynomial function, right? So the tractable problem, if you consider the algorithm for those problems, uh, those algorithms are going to be take a polynomial time, right? So that means the time complexity equation, if you write, it is looking like just a polynomial function. Okay. So algorithms are binary search, linear search, bubble sort, merge sort, etc. All these algorithms are considered as a polynomial time algorithms, and the problems will be considered as tractable problem. Okay. Next one, intractable problem. Say problem that cannot be solved in a polynomial time is called intractable problem. So the algorithms, if you design for such problems, those algorithms are going to take exponential time. Okay, as the size of problem grows, we cannot solve it in a polynomial time. So just now I mentioned that, right? So for example, traveling salesman problem, 0 by 1 knapsack problem, graph coloring problem, Hamiltonian cycle. So these all examples are belongs to this intractable problems, right? So let me give one example: shortest path, right? Finding the shortest path. So if the size of the graph is something like 10, the algorithm can give the result in a fixed amount of time. If you increase the size of the graph, that means if the number of nodes are more, like 1,000, 10,000, lakh, likewise. So what will happen? The algorithm will not execute in a polynomial time, right? So those problems will be considered as intractable problems. Okay. Next one. So actually these are the short answer questions. So just try to understand the definitions of these questions here. Tractable, what is tractable problem? What is intractable problem? Next, a decision problem. So a decision problem is one with yes or no answer, right? So actually, if we consider a problem here, those problems can be divided into either decision problem or optimization problem, right? So decision problem means the answer for that problem could be either yes or no, right? So suppose you are given with one particular graph and you are asked to find out whether there exists a spanning tree for that graph or not, right? So the answer could be either yes or not, right? So by seeing that graph, you can give the answer that either yes or no, depending upon the presence of the spanning tree in that graph, right? So the decision problem is one with the answer as either yes or no. Okay. Next one, optimization problem. So actually these optimization problems are nothing but these are the problems in which we try to find out the optimal solution from the available feasible solutions, right? So here in the optimization problem we use a optimization function, right? So these optimization problem either deals with maximizing or minimizing the objective function, right? So what is the objective function here means it is something like a constraint satisfaction function. Okay, so let me consider you are considering like a problem finding the shortest path, right? So finding the shortest path means there are nodes, network of nodes or graph in which the edge is labeled with a some cost. Okay, and we have to find the minimum cost path from source to the destination, right? Or from one node to the another node, right? So in that case, the objective function will be like it is minimizing the cost, right? So here in this objective function is minimizing objective function, where we have to find out a path with minimum cost, right? So same is the case if you want to find out the longest distance. Okay, if you want to find out the longest distance, then the objective function is like a maximization function, right? Where we are going to find out the maximum cost. Okay, that means longest cost path from source to the destination, or from one node to the another node, right? So this is how that objective function could be either considered as a maximizing objective function or minimizing objective function, right? And whenever we have those objective functions, and we have to find an optimal solution based on that given objective function, then that problem will be considered as an optimization problem. Okay, so here some of the examples are graph coloring. So graph coloring means, suppose you are given with some graph. Okay, so we have to find out what are the number of colors required to uh, that particular graph. So what is the minimum number of colors required to color that particular graph, right? Hamiltonian cycle. So if a graph is given, you may be asked to find out a Hamiltonian cycle in that particular graph, right? So that is also uh, considered as one of the optimization problems. So finding the shortest path. Okay, traveling salesman problem. Okay, 0 by 1 knapsack problem. So these are all the some of the problems that belongs to this optimization problem category, right? So here there is a one word that is called feasible solution, right? So feasible solution means what we have to do for a given problem, for a given objective function, we will find out the all the feasible solutions, right? All the feasible solution means we will generate all the possible solution. Among them, we will find out the best one. Okay, so that best solution will be considered as the optimal solution, right? So for example, you want to find out the shortest path from source to the destination in a graph, right? So what you will do, we will explore all the possible paths from source to the destination, and then among them we have to pick up the best one. Okay, so that is we have to consider as an optimal solution. Okay, and the solutions that we have generated, uh, those are called as set of solutions. Those we have generated, those are called as feasible solution, right? So that is the different case, how to generate those feasible solution and how to find out the optimal solution. So those things we are not going to discuss here. So just our discussion is concise to what is the optimization problem and what is decision problem, right? So then whenever we get such words in the further discussions, you should be able to identify, yeah, what is the decision problem. The problem with yes or no answer is considered as decision problem. The problem of finding the optimal solution from the available solutions is called optimization problem. Okay, next one. So here the problems are divided into generally here two classes, P class and NP class. So just try to identify the difference here. So first thing, P class. So P stands for polynomial time, right? So here we are using a word, a letter as P. So here P is nothing but it is indicating polynomial time. So a problem, computational problem, could be either in P class or NP class, right? So what is this P class? P stands for polynomial time. So P class is nothing but set of all the problems that can be solved in a polynomial time. Okay, so the set of all the problems that can be solved in a polynomial time will be considered as P problems. Okay, or those problems will fall into this particular category. Okay, or comes under this particular category. Okay, so one more point, we can say that these problems, these P class problems, have definitely when we write an algorithm, uh, it could be a deterministic polynomial time algorithm, right? So these problems when we consider, and if we write an algorithm for those problems, then that algorithm must be a deterministic polynomial time algorithm, right? So the class of problems that have polynomial time deterministic algorithms will be considered as P class problems. Okay, so they are solvable in a polynomial time. So like order of Pn, right? So Pn is nothing but a polynomial function, right? So it could be anything. So polynomial function on n. So it could be either order of log n log n power k likewise. Okay. So anyhow, if the algorithm is deterministic and it is having a polynomial time complexity, then that problem will be considered as a P class problem. Okay. Now here one question is, what is meant by deterministic algorithm? So in deterministic algorithm, every step is clear. Okay, that means every step is clearly defined, and that algorithm will gives the result in a polynomial time, right? So that algorithm is considered as a deterministic algorithm, right? So every step is clear and precise, okay, and it performs some specific functionality and gives the result in a polynomial time, right? So if the algorithm is having these properties, then that algorithm is considered as a deterministic algorithm. Okay. The examples are binary search, linear search, sorting, minimum spanning tree, etc. Right. So all the problems those are having deterministic polynomial time algorithm will be considered as a P class problems. Okay. Next one, class NP. So these problems can be solved by using non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm, right? So here we are using the word as NP. NP means non-polynomial, right? So here we are using the word as NP, non-polynomial. So non-polynomial means these are the problems that can be solved by non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm, right? So non-deterministic means uh, some of the steps are not clear, right? So for simplicity's sake, what we can do here is that as we don't know the exact operation that we want to perform, in that case, what we will do, we will simply write a procedure name. That's it. Okay, so we don't define it precisely, okay, clearly. So if we don't know the actual functionality of a particular procedure or a function, we just declare it and leave it. Okay, so in future whenever we get the definition for that function, we will complete it in the algorithm, right? Or you could say like if the steps are not clear for you, you simply leave the blanks in the algorithm, right? So whenever you get a precise instructions or clear understanding of the functionality, you fill up those steps in the algorithm, right? So whenever we leave some of the steps unclear in the algorithm, then that will be considered as a non-deterministic algorithm, right? So these are the problems which are complex to solve, and there exist non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm, right? So whenever we have such property uh, for the problems like non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm, then those problems will be considered as NP problems. Okay. The another property is that if there is a solution, okay, for this class of problem, we can verify that solution quickly in a polynomial time, right? So generally we don't have a solution, perfect solution or perfect algorithm for these particular problems that gives the result in a polynomial time. So what we are doing here is that we are writing some non-deterministic algorithms. So non-deterministic algorithm will give something result in a polynomial time. Okay, and here we are considering that most of the problems are uh, uh, not solvable in a particular polynomial time, right? So here if there is a solution for a particular problem in this class, you can verify it quickly in a polynomial time whether that solution is correct or not, right? So that is also considered as one of the properties of NP class, right? So examples: traveling salesman problem, graph coloring, satisfiability problem, etc., right? So based upon this discussion, we could say like P is a subset of NP problem, right? So P is a subset of NP problem, right? So generally, what happen is there today some of the problems are not solvable. Suppose some of the problems are not solvable. So since the problems are not solvable, they belongs to this NP class, right? So the problems are not solvable in a polynomial time, okay, and the algorithm is something like non-deterministic. So those problems will belongs to this NP category, right? So in future, if the problems become solvable, so what will happen? The NP class problem will be going to become a P class. That means it is going to get into this P class category, right? So let me consider one example. Suppose in olden days the binary search is uh, non-deterministic. That means there is a no perfect way of finding that whether a particular element is there in a list or not, right? So in olden days that binary search would be considered like NP problem, right? So later on what will happen when we defined this algorithm as a deterministic one, or we got a perfect solution for this binary search, or we could able to design a deterministic algorithm, then this binary search would become a P problem, right? So will become a P problem. So what I mean to say is that whatever the problems those are in NP class today, tomorrow if they will become solvable and if we get a result in a polynomial time, then those problems will become P problems. Okay, so uh, as the technology progress, what will happen? The size of P class problems will goes on increasing. Right? It keeps on increasing. Right? So that I would like to say here. Right? So this is that's why we are saying that P is a subset of NP. Okay. So it means the deterministic algorithms that we know today were part of NP, right? In the past days, right? So relate NP problems such that if one of the problem is solved, then all other problems could also be solved, right? So here in NP class problems, we are going to have some of the problems which are not solvable. So to solve these problems, what we have to do here is that we can relate those problems together, right? So we have to relate those problems together in such a way that if we give a solution for one particular NP problem, the other NP problems could also be get solvable. Okay, so this is how we are going to relate the problems those are belonging to this NP class, right? So generally in NP class problems, these are the problems which are not having the solution, right? So in order to solve these problems in a polynomial time, what we could do here is that we have to relate these problems, right? So for example, if you are having problem A and problem B in NP, okay, if problem A is related to a problem B, okay, if the problem B is solved, then it means that the problem A could also be solved, right? So such type of relations we have to establish in the NP class problems, right? So that is the most important point with respect to the NP class problems, right? So we will also see in our further discussion how we are going to establish the relation, so that solving of one particular problem will give the solution for another problem, right? So next one, a problem is NP complete if the problem is both NP hard and NP. Okay, so let me discuss about NP hard first, then I will discuss about NP complete, right? So generally, a NP hard problem uh, is a complex problems which are not solvable in a particular time or not solvable in a polynomial time, right? So generally these problems doesn't have any solution, right? So that's why we are calling it as NP hard problem, right? So for a particular problem, NP hard problem, if we get a solution, that means if we define a non-deterministic algorithm that gives result in a polynomial time, so non if we define non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm, then this NP hard problem will become a NP complete. Okay, so generally NP hard means assume that there is no non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm exists for these problems, right? So if we can able to define non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm for such problems, then the problem will become NP complete problem. Okay, so NP complete problem. Okay, so that is the relationship between NP complete and NP hard, right? So initially we will consider if a problem is NP problem and it is not having the solution, I mean non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm, then this problem will be considered as NP hard. Okay, and moreover, uh, the scope of these problems could be out of NP also. That means these problems could be either NP or may not be NP. Okay. So, but NP complete, if you consider, definitely it should be NP problem. Okay. And this NP problem is going to have a non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm, right? So let us see the discussion. Let us see the definition for it. So see here, a problem is NP complete if the problem is both NP hard and NP. Just now I mentioned what is NP hard, right? So NP hard means the problem for which uh, we don't have the non-deterministic uh, polynomial time algorithm, right? So that problem will be considered as NP hard, right? And next one, if that particular problem belongs to NP class, then it is called as NP complete, right? So a problem is NP complete if it is a part of both NP and NP hard problem. Okay, a non-deterministic algorithm or non-deterministic Turing machine can solve NP complete problem in a polynomial time. So this is the same point that I mentioned, right? So if we are having a non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm for NP problem, then it is going to be considered as NP complete. Okay, and it is definitely it could be NP hard problem too, right? So next one, a problem P is NP hard if there is an NP complete problem Q such that Q is reducible to P in a polynomial time, right? So what we will do here is that to solve this NP hard problem, what we will do, we will establish the relationship between the NP hard problem such that if one particular problem is solvable, then another problem could also be solvable, right? So here we will see with one practical example to how to prove this problem is NP hard. So we will see in the further discussion. So just assume that here we are going to perform the something like reducibility concept, right? So reducibility concept means one problem will be reduced to another problem such that if we solve one problem, we will get a solution for another one, right? So here, if there is a problem Q, if it is Q is reducible to P, and if we get a solution for P, then automatically we will get solution for Q also. Okay, so we have to relate the problems in such a way that. So next one, NP hard problems are hard as NP complete problems. Okay, NP hard problems need not be in NP class. So just now I mentioned that they need not be belongs to NP. Okay, so some of the examples of NP hard are satisfiability problem. SAT means satisfiability problem, 0 by 1 knapsack problem, Hamiltonian path, traveling salesman problem, click problem, etc. Okay, so these are the problems which are considered as NP hard problems, right? So whenever we can able to define a non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm, then this problem will become a NP complete problem, right? So initially it will be considered as NP hard. The moment when we get deterministic non-polynomial time algorithm, it will become NP complete. Okay. So let me give the classification. See here. So this is how it could look like. So here already we discussed NP is a larger set of problems. So in that P is a subset of the problems, right? So P is a subset of NP, right? And next we are having a NP hard class problems in which some of the problems are NP class problems. Okay. So NP complete, the shaded portion is considered as an NP complete, right? So some of the problems, NP problems, those were considered as NP hard. If you get a solution, that means if you get an non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm, then that part of problems will be considered as NP complete, right? So if you consider this diagram, you could see that NP complete is in between NP and NP hard, right? So NP complete means a NP class problem which is NP hard as well as NP, right? So what is the definition for NP hard? So we are having certain problems in this NP hard category which are not solvable. So what we will do, we will relate those problems in NP hard together such a way that if one problem is solved, we will get a solution for another problem, right? And if we can able to define a non-deterministic polynomial time algorithm for this NP hard problem, it will become NP complete. Okay, so this is the diagram, and this is the points that we have discussed. Okay, so that's it for today's session. In the next session, we will discuss how to perform this reduction. Okay, so how to perform this reduction to convert this NP hard problem to NP complete. Okay.